Can you believe it's almost time for this? But before that, there's this. And then there's this. I can't quite believe that we're headed into the third winter here on the farm, and therefore the third lambing. I've already split my breeding groups, so we've got Montague in with all the Norfolk Horn ladies. We've got Oberon in with the 4 Jacob sheep. And then we are going to tup Tracy again, and Tracy is in with Capulet. Now I have begun tupping a little bit earlier this year. Last year I did it at the end of October, beginning of November. But what I found was, by the time we got to March, I was desperate for lambs, and I was also super busy in the market garden. So I decided that this year I'm going to start a little bit earlier so that we can have some end of February lambs. And it just means my workload in March, April can focus on the farm rather than lambing. And also it means that I can wean lambs in the summer and give the ewes some still good forage to get nice and strong again after they've been milking off those lambs. With the drought this year and the hard grass, my ewes lost a lot of condition, so I had to wean the lambs off early, which then means you end up with some weaker lambs. So by lambing earlier, I hope that we'll have all that good spring growth in the grass and some summer, and the lambs can be a good 5-6 months before I take them away. Well, that was the plan anyway, because as you can see, if you look out across Monty's flock, Monty is sat beneath the trampoline, not giving a hell about anybody, and nobody has a red bottom. And a red bottom means they've been tupped. Now I was going to talk to you about the fact that these guys keep escaping. But sod's law, the day I was going to tell you, nobody escaped. But it has been an issue this year. The drought has meant that the electric fence hasn't worked as much because I've discovered that you need water in the ground to pull that current. And also the poor grass means that the grass is always greener, whatever you are. But this year, the grass has definitely been greener outside the fence. And it's meant that these ewes have lost all respect for the electric fencing. So at the moment, I'm being a bit mean and I'm having to feed right along that fence line so they get stung a few times. It is kind of working, but what I think I'm also going to have to do is get some of my electric netting and put a second barrier around the outside. It won't be on because electric netting and horn sheep is a disaster waiting to happen because they get tangled, can't get out, and then actually can kill them. So I'm going to leave it off, but it will be a more obvious orange netted barrier, and hopefully they will start to realise again that they can't get out. Also, of course, when they're heavily pregnant, they won't want to get out because they won't be able to jump. Don't forget, the brand new 2023 Brynwood Farm calendar is also now available, featuring our lovely Dora, who was a complete diva when we tried to do the photo shoot. And the link to the website is in the description below. And if you enjoyed this video, you can help by hitting that subscribe button, and also if you want to offer a little support to the farm, you can do so with the donation of a virtual coffee. The link is in the description below. One thing I do need to do today is to top up the raddle on the tups. And all the raddle is just, that's a posh word for dye. And so you want to put some dye on the front of your tups, on their chest, so that when they breed the ewes, you can see who's been done. So you can use a raddle, which is basically just powder in different colours that you mix with oil, or you can use a crayon, which comes on a harness. I've never used a harness and a crayon, but I've seen it used, and it lasts longer, but it doesn't seem to come off in as much colour, so it's not so obvious. The raddle, however, is really obvious, but because it's oil and it's kind of just smeared on their chest, it does dry out and it needs topping up because otherwise they tup and you can't see it's been done. The other thing that farmers often do is they will switch colours, so they'll start off in one colour, and then after 15, 16, 17 days, when the sheep have had their first cycle, they'll switch to another colour, and then that will show the first lot of ewes and the second lot of ewes. I don't tend to do that because I've only got a very few sheep, and what I tend to do is I put my rams in now, and then they stay in till like January, February time. It's easier for me. it means that all my girls get covered, but it also, I haven't got vast amounts of ewes which would knacker the rams out. So my tups quite happily live all winter with the ewes. Hello. We seem to have a visitor. What are you doing right over here? Your coop's over there. You're just exploring. A lot of the chickens are in mega molt at the moment, so she's just mega molted out. You can see all of her pin feathers are coming back through though now. She's going to look very pretty. And obviously Eve, always wandering around the farm doing what she wants, apart from having babies. I actually don't mind the chickens kind of wandering around like this, because what they are actually doing is picking through poo and eating flies and bugs and things like that, which is good. I'm not sure, however, how long this is going to continue, because we've had a really bad case of avian flu in this country this year, and it's never stopped. Normally it starts about October, November, goes through till March, disappears, comes back later. It hasn't stopped this year. So I would think that very soon all of this will be a thing of the past, and all these poor lovely ducks and geese and chickens will have to go into flock down, which is basically shut in completely over the winter to try and limit the spread of avian flu. Look at the wind today in those trees, and also obviously the signs of autumn. From this distance as well, I think you can also spot that I have goats, because there's a two-tone hedge at the bottom where goats can reach, and at the top where goats cannot reach. While I'm in this field, I'll just move the chickens and the turkey forward. I'll be honest with you, I haven't had a lot of luck with the turkeys. I bought a trio of Norfolk blacks. I lost both hens over the space of 9 months. Oh, and I lost the stag in the storm earlier this year. So I replaced the stag with not as good quality, and then my turkey chicks that we hatched out a few weeks ago, none of them made it. So that lone turkey stag, I think I need to not be sentimental, and I think he's going to be Christmas dinner. I'm short of grazing on that other field, so I actually moved the Jacobs up onto this pasture, and Capulet and Tracy are just over there. So we'll come and top up Oberon's raddle. Hello goats. Fraggle, it's not for eating. Oh, I've got it all over my shoes. Lovely lipstick there, Fraggle. Yes, really suits you. This is the only other issue with Raddle. It's now all over my shoe. Because it's oil, it won't come out. Right, let's go and try and do Capulet. I should have brought some food with me. I might have to just do him later. And so now we wait for the appearance of lots of red bottoms. But you don't have to wait for lambs. If you want to see the lambs we had earlier this year, check out this video.